Dumelang. Today I didn't know that I was going to have strength to come and talk to you because the last 2-3 videos were gut-wrenching. After filming yesterday, I was so broken, I just couldn't hold myself together. I didn't realize that the wounds are still so raw. But I'll tell you what was different. This time, I had an impenetrable wall of warm, loving hearts from my fellow South Africans. You held me together. You incubated all my pain. You supported me. I felt so loved. The messages of encouragement, the support, the love, the hugs I received. Thank you so much. I don't think any language can express how loved and warm my heart feels. Yabo. I really need a little indulgence from you. Uti, I just get a day off today and not talk about the fraud. Because when I go through these stories, I'm not reading them anyway. I need to literally get into that space and relive them. It's very, very traumatic. So today I don't really want to talk about fraud, but I just want to tell you about 2 developments that happened. So it will be a brief video. If it cuts, then I'll do a second video. But today I'm going to day off. So this morning I got a phone call from an American number. This gentleman is a director of one of the biggest law firms in the world. He's been seeing my story. The same way Africa, Europe, everybody has been sending messages of support. This gentleman says to me, you have a blank check and you have the best legal minds in the world to capacitate you to take Standard Bank on whatever route you want to take. What they did is so wrong on so many levels. And he says, we are disgusted that your country has done nothing about it. Not only the fraud, there's so many offenses involved in this case, just the little that I have told the world. There is so much that is incorrect. He says, go for it. So in our conversations, he also asked me if I suffered any personal damages. And I say, even if I use my toes and fingers, I won't finish counting the damages that I incurred because of Standard Bank. But forget about me for a minute. I want to talk about the damages that South Africans have lost because of this exact fraud from Standard Bank. I'm sure I don't need to scratch very far to remind you. Do you remember, I think 2018, if I'm not lying, do you remember the Ekurhuleni University that was going to open? Do you remember that? Do you know that I spent 20 years of my wisest time preparing the curriculum, preparing what needs to be fed to our children? You know, South Africa is one of the few countries where a university just take courses from 1904 and they just recruit children who come and get 54% and then they give them a degree. When that child finishes, she's got nowhere to go. She's unemployable. That's why we have so many unemployed graduates. So what I did instead, and really it's not my wisdom, it's things I copied in 82 countries. What are the best practices? I looked at every town, at every, what do you call it in South Africa? Like Gauteng and at those things. Cantons. I don't remember what we call it here. Provinces. I put together, what does Gauteng do? What does Ekurhuleni do? So I started with Ekurhuleni. There's an airport that is not serviced. It's a logistical town. There were so many unemployed children. I brought 27 professors from all over the world. I had 4 from Harvard. I had professors from all over the world. We conducted the research. What does the economy need to function effectively? So you can't do it as a blanket. South Africa is too varied to just put one blanket over it. You need to customize things bit by bit. So we started with Ekurhuleni, and we were doing an aerotropolis there because of the airport, because of the logistics, and because of the businesses that are concentrated there. I'll tell you the program. I'll do a separate video and tell you the program that I put together. Then I raised funding because what was going to happen, there was going to be a state university, and then there was going to be a private university. If you ask Councillor Mzwandile Masina, he was the mayor at the time. I went to present my strategy to him. He approved it. He was very happy. In fact, he announced it in his State of the Town address. The university was then announced in President Ramaphosa's first State of the Nation address. Do you know why we don't have a university in Ekurhuleni until today? When all the work, I've got reams and reams of files. I paid 11.9 million rands of my money to do the feasibility study. This study had made sure that every youth in Ekurhuleni will have a job. Because at my university, you don't study for 4 years. At the end of the 4 years, you've got a university with no experience and no job. No. From the day you get registered, you are employed. You work 3 days, you go to class for 3 days. So by the time you graduate in 4 years, you've got a 4-year degree and you have 4 years work experience. You've never borrowed anybody's money. You've been earning from the first day. It was such a beautiful project. My contract for the money I had raised was very strict. I couldn't get involved in any of the South African corruption, irrespective whether my side or their side is wrong. I was not allowed to be in any court case. And with my integrity, I had to report this case. I lost the funding. That's why until today, we don't have a university at Ekurhuleni. Go and ask Councillor Masina. I was ready. My documents are still ready. My feasibility study is still ready. I lost that money because of the Standard Bank fraud. Today, our children are still unemployed, are still not qualified, are still not educated. The program was so comprehensive and holistic. We taught children skills that we as Black people were deprived of. It was a beautiful program. We lost it because of Standard Bank. So we discussed it today, and I thought that's what I'd rather discuss with you today. I don't want to talk about fraud. Tomorrow I'll come back and record part 14 for you.